Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we got something different. So we all know that Marvel Contest of Champions is a very complicated game with hundreds of champions and a ton of nodes and also various game modes. So I have been playing this game for 5 years myself, and I think I have enough game knowledge to finally make a tier list. So I'm sure you have seen many tier lists from like a lot of other YouTubers, but today I'm going to show you an advanced tier list that is based on numbers. So basically we use a scoring system for every champion based on their performance in a number of criteria such as Alliance War Attack, Alliance War Defense, Alliance Quest, Prestige, and all of that stuff. So the categories are, first off, we got Alliance War Attack, Alliance War Defense, Alliance Quest, Incursions, Labyrinth of Legends, Abyss of Legends, Act 6 and Act 7 paths, Act bosses, monthly quests and variants, and Prestige. So those are the categories, and of course not everyone values the same things that I value here. So yeah, not all categories are equally spreaded. So for example, I value Alliance War more, so I put higher percentage on it, so it affects the results more than the Alliance Quest does. So here you can see the percentages of each criteria. So we got 15% on attack, 10% on defense. So totally for Alliance War, in total we have 25%. Then Alliance Quest 10% with Prestige. So it's 20% for Alliance Quest, 5% for Incursions, 7% for Labyrinth of Legends, for Abyss of Legends 8, and Act 6 and 7 with bosses is 25 in total. And then we got the last 10% for monthly quests and variants. So those add up to a total of 100%. And on your left, we have all the champions ranked in alphabetical order, and all we have to do is to fill up the boxes in each category with a number of 1 to 5 based on each character's performance in every category. So yeah, you can see the champions here, got all of them here. So after all the boxes are filled, we calculate the weighted average score on every single champion, and then we use Excel's rank function to rank the champions based on their score from highest to lowest. And then lastly, we set the thresholds for each tier, and you can see them all right here. So S tier is 3.60, for A tier we got 3 to 3.59, B tier 2.45 to 2.99, C tier from 2 to 2.44, D tier 1.50 to 1.99, E tier 1.26 to 1.49, and then lastly F tier is below 1.25. So the S tier is like beyond God tier, A tier is God tier. So yeah. And yeah, let's talk about the S tier champions first. So the first champion, in my opinion, is Namor. So let's talk about Namor. He's got 5 in Alliance War Attack. He can reverse any Magic's Limbo or Electro. So his utility is just amazing. He is only 2 in defense though, because yeah, his specials are pretty easy. But yeah, if you get clipped, he will do some damage. Alliance Quest, a 4. He gets only a 4 out of 5 because he doesn't have any immunities, but the fact that you can heal in every single fight when attacking the opponent with suicides, it's amazing. 4 in Incursions because his special damage is crazy, especially if someone is bleed immune. You can get to Imperious Rex faster and destroy the opponent. 4 in Labyrinth and 4 in Abyss, exactly the same reason. with like 2 or 3 SP3s, you get damage cap for sure. 5 in act paths, because his utility, like if you have something like a debuff, like a poison or a cold snap or an incinerate or a shock, you can just keep being aggressive and you would not care about the damage, because you will send it back to the opponent if you have him at say 200, of course. For act bosses, he's great for that as well. Like his utility is beyond insane. 4 in monthly quests and variants. So with the Furies in the monthly quests, he can deal crazy damage. Like you don't even need to activate an SP3 to finish the fight. With 1 SP2, he's dead. And for variant, like again, the fact that you can like ignore any debuff on you or like something like that, it's crazy. And then a 5 in prestige. Oh, here, 5 in prestige. So that's why he's a rank 1. And then for rank 2, Omega Red. Omega Red, he has very good damage with the suicide. He benefits a lot from suicides. So he gets a 4 in attack because he can melt those opponents easily, even without hitting them. A 3 in defense because, yeah, sometimes if you get backed into the corner, he's gonna suck a little bit, but you can counter him easily because his specials are easy. Then a 5 in Alliance Quest, like, yeah, no question, like, the best healing probably in the game. So you heal with the bleed, you start with Death Field, like with the SP1 you have a great healing, with the SP3 you have great healing, it's just crazy. Then 4 in Incursions, exactly the same reason why he gets 5 in Alliance Quest. The sustain is great, but he doesn't have any buffs or debuffs that can benefit in Incursions. 3 in Labyrinth, just because there is the Limber, and with Omega Red you need to throw a lot of heavy attacks. And 4 in Abyss, because there is no Limber, and also in Abyss it counts like with the hits you do. So with Omega Red you can just keep spamming heavy attacks, and as long as you are close to the opponent you can deal some great damage. So he's good. And then a 5 in Act Paths, like, yeah, can melt those opponents easily. You have a poison immunity and like basically bleed immunity, so in any biohazard or something like that, he is awesome. In Act Bosses he gets a 4, 5 in monthly quests and variants, like, yeah, he's just crazy good for variants. And 2 for prestige, just because like his sustain is amazing. And also that's what keeps him down, the prestige, like a 2. So if he had a 5, I think he would pass Namor, honestly. But because we calculate prestige for 10%, yeah, that's why he's second. So yeah, a lot of the great champions, the prestige like takes them down. So Colossus in 3rd place, 5 in Alliance War attack. Like you can just parry, reparry, throw those shiv attacks. The damage is beyond insane. And also, if you use Colossus with Omega Red, Colossus just gets crazy. He gets 2% for each armor up, 2% attack for each armor up. And for Omega Red, I think your spores are like going faster to the opponent. So those guys two together are awesome. Colossus 2 for defense because he has so many armor ups and he has a lot of power gain. Only for that reason. His specials are really easy. 3 for Alliance Quest because he has bleed immunity. 5 for Incursions because he's got so many buffs. Like if you have buff core incubator with Colossus, you start the fight with so many buffs. With the SP2 you double them sometimes. And yeah, he's got bleed immunity and you take, I think, a little bit less parry damage because of those armor ups. So he's good. 3 in Labyrinth because of the damage cap. Because yeah, if you use him with Omega Red, like, he will destroy Labyrinth of Legends. But the thing is that with Colossus there is Limber, so that's why he gets a 3. He would get a 5 if there wasn't any Limber, but yeah, there is. And here, yeah, we don't count that you can use like Magneto Marvel now, so yeah. It's like on his own. Abyss of Legends, he gets a 4 because you don't need to do a lot of hit to deal some great damage, because you basically use heavy attacks and there is no limber, so he's better there. Act 6 and Act 7 paths, he gets a 4 because he's got a good immunity and you can destroy the opponents with like heavy attacks. For Act bosses he gets a 4, and for monthly quests and variants he's like bleed immune. For I think the monthly quest you need, yeah, there is biohazard, and yeah, it's pretty good for that. And for variants, like even in the extra large chapter, the extra large, how do you call it, variant, you can just, he's a large champion, but I think large champions, like if you use heavy attacks, their hits cannot be glanced, so he's good for that. He's a good hero for the heroes chapter, so yeah. And then 3 for prestige. So if he had 5, he would pass Mega Red. And then we have Magneto, the Red Magneto. So this guy is just insane. And he's in the same place as Colossus. So Magneto, where is he? So the Red. He gets a 5 in attack. Just, you have a metal champion, just dead. Like you can't die from that. He's just crazy. Any Dragon Man, anything like a Vision or Ultron melts. 3 for defense, because like if you are magnetized, yeah, it's really hard to win. Your powers don't connect and all of that stuff. I think you sometimes lose from the willpower. You don't heal, you lose. Just crazy. 3 for Alliance Quest, because he doesn't have any immunities, but he can destroy the bosses, like those Guillotine 2099. 4 for Incursions, because he's got so many buffs. He doesn't have any immunity, so that's why he gets 4, but with so many buffs. And also for the extra room, for like room 5, 10, 15, and 20, you have all metal champions, those robots, the Ultra robots, destroys them. 3 for Labyrinth, because there is Limber, you need to hold your heavy attack. 4 for Abyss, because there is no Limber. 4 for Act Paths, like if someone is metal, destroyed. 5 for bosses, because yeah, every single metal champion just destroys them, and there is a lot of them in the Act 6, Act 7, yeah, there is a lot. 4 for monthly quest, he actually is kind of good for the monthly quest, like with the biohazard. He's not bleed immune, but you take less damage for every single, or for every mutant, but his damage is good for his special, so the more fury he has, more powerful he is. And also for the variants, like again, every single metal champion is just dead from that. And 3 for prestige, so that's what keeps him down as well. He would pass Colossus and Omega Red if he had 5 for prestige. So yeah, prestige is what brings the good champions down, guys. If we didn't calculate that, it would be different. So Archangel, he gets a 5 in attack. Like if someone is not bleed immune or poison immune, they are melted. Like this guy's damage and his ability accuracy reduction is just amazing. He gets a 2 in defense though, because yeah, his SP1 is sometimes tricky, but yeah. Also with suicides, if you hit him in the block and you get poisoned, maybe you get neurotoxin and it's gonna suck, so that's why he gets a 2, if you're using suicide, of course. 3 for Alliance Quest, he doesn't have any immunities, but he melts them. 4 for Incursions, his damage is beyond insane for Incursions, doesn't have any buffs or or he has debuffs, but he doesn't have any buffs, so he doesn't get a 5. 2 for Labyrinth, because there is Limber, and yeah, if you apply neurotoxins, the neurotoxins after they like shrug off, after their duration is over, the opponent gets stunned, and that's bad for Limber, so you're not gonna have a lot of stuns. 4 for Abyss though, because there is no Limber and he can melt a lot of them. 5 for Act Paths, like no question, it's just this guy's damage and utility is just insane. Any champion that's not poison or bleed immune are dead. 5 for bosses. He's awesome for bosses. Again, if they are not poison immune and bleed immune, melts them. And also, if you use Apocalypse, to make him like a horseman, you're gonna have more ability accuracy, so more poisons, more neurotoxins, more bleeds. Makes him even better. For monthly quests, he's not actually the best because he doesn't get a good advantage from the node. It's just, yeah, the furies from the bleeds, but his attack, like, you don't use him for his basic attacks, for his basic attack damage. You use him for his neurotoxin damage. But for variants, his utility is amazing. And look at this, he gets a 2 in prestige. Like, his prestige sucks, honestly. And with a 2, he's at rank 5. If he had 5, I'm pretty sure he would be like the first. If he wasn't the first, he was gonna be the second. So all those 4 champions, like, we have Omega Red. He has, where is Omega Red? So Omega Red, he has a 2 in prestige. Colossus has a 3 prestige. Magneto, the red Magneto, has 3 in prestige, and Archangel has 2 in prestige. So if we didn't calculate prestige, those champions would be in a very different order. But keep in mind, yeah, we calculate prestige. So yeah, those are the 5 S tier champions. Then we have Apocalypse, and the reason why Apocalypse is an A tier, only because after you activate like an SP1, an SP2, and an SP3 to make the debuffs like last forever, you need to spam SP1s, and that's not good for suicides. So that's the only reason he's not on the S tier. But if you don't have suicides, Apocalypse is a beyond god tier champion. Everyone knows that. But for suicides, it's different. So he gets 3 in attack because you can make someone a horseman as well there, if you want to. 5 for defense. This guy is so annoying. Like, if he has 4 charges, just so annoying. His SP1 and SP2 are kind of hard to avoid, so he gets a 5. 3 for alliance quest, just because if you fight a lot of fights with him, you can get a bit of a regen, but he doesn't have immunities right away, so only 3. And also because you need to spam specials for him, so with recoil it's not good. 3 in incursions for the same reason. 3 in labyrinth and 2 in abyss, again the same reason, because you need to spam specials in order for him to be at his best. And with suicides it's very different. So in labyrinth he would have 5 if we didn't have suicides, but he gets 3 in act paths. He's pretty good if you make someone a horseman, but yeah, I don't really like Apocalypse for that reason, because you need to spam specials, and I don't like losing damage from recoil. And then for act bosses, it only gets 2. 3 for variants. He's an extra large for the extra large variant, so he's pretty good. And then for the villain variant, he's pretty good as well. You can make someone a horseman. And prestige is 5, so that's what brings him up here, the prestige. Then we got Domino. Domino is amazing. She's a 3 for attack. She can critical failure some stuff. She gets 5 in defense for the critical failure, honestly. Like, you don't have parries connecting. She's just crazy. 2 for alliance quest though, no immunities. And yeah, only for the damage, honestly. No sustain. 3 for incursions, the same reason like in AW attack and AW defense, for the critical failure and the great damage. But labyrinth and abyss, that critical bleed from the SP3 is massive, so she gets a 4. If you're lucky, she gets a 4. 3 in act paths and act bosses, yeah, because honestly you can use Massacre and Red Hulk, just destroy some act paths really quickly with her, with the heavy attacks, and the critical failure will help. So 4 in monthly quests and variants, the same reason why. For monthly quests, you can just use Massacre to extend your stun, and then Red Hulk for the incinerate damage. And for variants, she has good utility. But 2 for prestige, that's what keeps her down too. So she would be god tier if there wasn't prestige. So next up we got Platinum Pool. He's an A tier. I love Platinum Pool. He's so much suicide friendly, and yeah, he gets 3 in attack just because, yeah, if you're lucky, he can help a lot, even with the bleeds. 2 for defense, he's pretty easy to fight, but 4 for Alliance Quest. If you get lucky with the heal boosts and that card where the damage you take, even for the block hits, you get it with back from a regen as a better healing. It's great. No immunities though, so that's not a 5. 3 for incursions. He's got some buffs, like, yeah, he's not the best for incursions, so only 3. 2 and 2 for labyrinth. Like, if you're lucky, you can get some bleed damage there, but his damage is like not amazing for labyrinth and abyss. 4 in act paths though. Like, I love using my Platinum Pool in the event quest or in the story quest sometimes, because yeah, this guy is just crazy. Also, you can use him for auto farming some like energy refills or revives. It's just the best. But if you get lucky, guys, with this guy has an awesome kit. Like, I love his kit. His utility is amazing if you get lucky. And the thing is, if you don't get lucky, you can throw an SP3, refresh those cards, and you will get lucky after some tries. 3 for act bosses though. He can melt that 6.3 Medusa with the DU bleed and some other champions, but yeah, only 3. 3 for monthly quest and variants. Not the best for monthly quest, only from that biohazard node. The Fury, he's got some good attack, but for variants he's not the greatest, so only 3. But prestige, this guy is insane. That's what keeps him up. Prestige is like amazing for Platinum Pool. But I love Platinum Pool. Like, this guy I think is the best trophy champion. Even maybe from Sigil Hutch, Scarlet Witch. Maybe. But definitely as a suicide Masteries user, I think Platinum Pool is better than Scarlet Witch as a trophy champion. Even Weapon X, like Weapon X is, where is he? Weapon X is B tier, like in my opinion. Doesn't have a lot for him. So he's like good for AW defense and pretty much like he's not good for anything else, I think. He's got good damage. Maybe he's good for Abyss. What do we have here? So for Abyss, where is Wolverine? Wolverine, where is Weapon X? Weapon X. So 40 defense, yeah. Even for Labyrinth, he has searched it up. He's not amazing. But yeah, moving on. So Emma Frost. Emma Frost is actually pretty good. She can remove those suicides pretty quickly. Where is Emma Frost? So Emma Frost, she gets 4 for attack because she's amazing for that mini boss in the middle and any other stuff where you need to be immune something. 4 for defense, she is annoying with inverted controls. 3 for Alliance Quest, she doesn't have any healing, but the immunities help a lot. 3 for incursions, 2 and 2 for Labyrinth and Abyss, your damage is not amazing. 3 for Act Path and Act Bosses, and Monthly Quest, because yeah, that immunity can help in every single, like in every situation, in a lot of situations actually. And for Variant, yeah, those immunities are pretty good. But Prestige keeps her down, so 3, only a 3, she's nothing great. Sunspot, okay, Sunspot guys, if we didn't have suicides, Sunspot would be easily in the S tier. Like, I love using Sunspot, but with suicides, Sunspot is not good. So like, if you need a big SP2, you need to throw at least like 3 to 4 SP1s before, and then an SP2. So with the recoil master is like at least 20% off. So that's why he's an A tier and not a B tier, or not an S tier, sorry. Because his perfect block is just amazing. You can even perfect block special attacks. But Sunspot here, he gets 3, let's, so that you can see, 3 for Alliance War attack. His perfect block is amazing. Only 1 for defense though, keeps him down a little bit. His special are really easy. 2 for Alliance Quest. The perfect block helps, but with the recoil it doesn't help. If you want, the damage is not good. if you actually want damage, you will have to sacrifice some health. He has no immunity, so only 2. 3 for incursions because of the perfect block. 3 for labyrinth and abyss. He would have 5 in both, or like 5 in labyrinth and 4 in abyss, because for abyss you need more requirements. But for labyrinth he would have 5. If we didn't have recoil, he would have 5, an easy 5. But then for act paths we got 4. He can cheese a lot of paths in 7.2. Like, it's the one path where if you spam like SP once, you can have the opponent stunned, so it's pretty good. Like, you don't even care about the recoil in that path, because like you throw an SP1 and they are just stunned. So for the path it's like 6 fights, so if you heal him up a little bit, like 30%, he's gonna destroy that path. So he's good for all of those paths. And also a path where there, I think it's 7.1, or honestly maybe it's like 6 too, where if you apply an incinerate on the opponent, you get it back at you transferred, and that helps Sunspot a lot. It's exactly the same for Human Torch. So yeah, 3 for bosses, 3 for variants and monthly quests here, and 5 for, where is he? Okay, 5 for prestige. Yeah, his prestige is amazing, we all know that. And then the last A-tier champion, Strife. So Strife, he got 2 in Alliance War Attack, 2 in defense, pretty easy. 2 in Alliance Quest, no immunities. 2 for incursions. Like, his damage is pretty good, but I don't think it's awesome with, like, for, how do you call it, incursions. It doesn't have a lot of buffs. He gets 5 in Labyrinth and Abyss though. Because yes, I've seen a lot of videos like Strife is amazing for Labyrinth, especially Labyrinth, but for Abyss too. 3 for Act Paths, 3 for Act Bosses, 3 for monthly quests and variants. His utility is kind of useful sometimes, and 5 for Prestige. So his Prestige is amazing too. But the last 2 champions I want to talk about here are, first off, Professor X. Why is Professor X a B tier? So Professor X is kind of the same thing like Apocalypse, but Apocalypse also went to the A tier because he's got amazing synergies with everyone. But Professor X, like with Professor X, you need to spam more specials than Apocalypse. Like if we didn't have Suicides, Professor X was an S tier. I guarantee you that. He's a beyond God tier champion. I've seen every video. Like, he's amazing, but the fact that we have Suicides, it doesn't help. So he only gets 3 in attack and 3 defense. He's pretty easy for defense. Like, he only has a falter and his medium attack cannot be parried. 2 for Alliance Quest, no sustain and no immunities. 2 for incursions. Like, for incursions, he's insane. If you don't have Suicides, he's amazing. You have all those prowess as buffs. And the falter to help you if you get hit. This guy would get a 5 if we didn't have Suicides, because yeah, you can just spam SP1, spam SP2, and the damage is beyond insane. Also, for Labyrinth and Abyss, he would get a 5. If we didn't have Suicides, he would get a 5 there. But the fact that we have to spam specials, it isn't great. So the only reason he got a 3 in Abyss and 2 in Labyrinth is because in Labyrinth you have Limber and you can't use a lot of heavy attacks because of the parry. 3 in Act and Act Bosses, he has got some useful synergies there for Act. 2 in monthly quests and variants, exactly the same reason, because before yeah, you need spam specials, and 5 for Prestige. So guys, Professor X, he would be up here, like at least in the top 4, if there wasn't Suicides. The only reason that he's B tier is because you need to spam specials. And yeah, guys, I think you can agree with that you need to spam a lot of special for Professor X. So only that reason. And Magneto White is the last champion we're going to talk about. So he gets 4 in attack. His pre-fight is amazing, and that's why he gets 4. 2 for defense. He's pretty easy, but sometimes if you get magnetized, it's bad. 2 for Alliance Quest, no sustain, no healing, or no sustain, no immunities. 2 for Incursions. He can be useful sometimes with the pre-fight, but only a 2. 3 in Labyrinth, a 2. 3 in Labyrinth because you use him for the pre-fight, like with every single champion for the Limber. 2 in Abyss, 3 for Act, and 3 for Act bosses. Exactly the same reason, because of that pre-fight, but also his damage sometimes is pretty good. 2 for monthly quest and variants, and 4 for prestige. So that's why he's B tier. But yeah, those champions, like, look at the F tier champions, like Beast, both Cyclops and Deadpool X-Force suck. Like, those champions need to get reworked immediately. But yeah, guys, Professor X, it's the big hit here. So, he's a rank 14 with Gambit. So that's why he's a B tier. If we didn't have Suicides, he would be S tier, I guarantee you that. But with Suicides, it's different. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.